Welcome to the Man Cave Podcast with Dan Casper.
Let's do some local sports roundup. Brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center this morning. So we'll start off with boys basketball. Elk Mound in action yesterday, falling to freedom though. But, what a year for Elk Mound basketball. Girls and boys both getting to state this year.
Right. And kind of going back to the sectional finals last week, Elk Mound trailed by double digits in that game in the second half, came back to beat Amory to go to state. And, a great first season for new coach Dennis Arneson. Kind of going to be a tough act to follow when you jump in and that happens. But you're right. Between the boys and the girls, there's only a few teams that did that in the state, and usually there's a couple every year, but there's not many. When you think of just all the different schools, obviously in the state, and to be one of a couple, the only other one I can think of off the top of my head is the Prairie School that did it. But there might be another one or two in there. But to be able to do that, obviously it says a lot for not just the programs, not just the athletes, but just the community in general, how they support things. That's something as I've talked with some people throughout the winter about it, like. Both coaches have said, the community support in Elk Mound has been, fantastic. I was there Saturday in Somerset for that game, and that's what you look for in an environment. It was packed and it was loud. There were times where I was talking to somebody right next to me and I couldn't hear what they were saying because it was so loud in there. Mm-hmm. Wow. And that's what you look for this time of year. And a tough matchup going down to state and taking on a really, really good Freedom team. Mm-hmm. But definitely a lot to be proud of for that group to be able, for both groups really. But speaking more recently with the boys team, to be able to get down there and for those seniors, hey, you're in a spot everyone else wants to be in. Mm-hmm. To say hey, we ended our career on the Kohl Center floor, that's the goal.
Right. Yep. So we have some championships. Division. We know the Division III championship game is going to be Freedom versus Milwaukee Academy of Science, and then Division IV is going to be Bondwell versus Aquinas.
Yes.
For Division IV. Division I is coming up later today. Marshfield's going to be in action in that game. That's going to be tonight after the conclusion of the Wisconsin Lutheran Oshkosh North game. That's at 6:35. Before that, though, because we do have games this morning, which is Cochran Fountain City taking on Turtle Lake for Division V. So a couple of local-ish.
Right, yeah. Cochran Fountain City getting back to state. Another. It was a pretty good year this year for the Dairyland for teams. Eau Claire Manual girls making the run to sectional finals last week. Now you got Cochran Fountain City here. Taking on Turtle Lake, a team that broke through, picked up a couple big wins last week, knocking off Spring Valley and then knocking off Rib Lake. They're down there for the first time. So, those games will get going not long after we're off the air here. But, looking forward to it. Day 2 is always a fun one because you get games all day. Yep. They start at 9 and they go all day. So you get, D2 will be in the mix this afternoon as well. So, a lot of basketball out there to be consumed.
Where Wausau East is going to be in action this afternoon, too, against Wauwatosa West for that one. So
a lot of W's in there.
A lot of W's, yes. And that kind of will wrap up the winter sports season on the prep level. And I know some have already, you've mentioned it, too. Did any other sports kind of pick up this week?
There's, I know that track we'll start having some competition. I know McDonald is today. They're going to Winona for an indoor meet at St. Mary's University. So, but really, I think that's a little bit more next week. But softball got going this week, so you got teams, out there making, getting practices underway. You'll have some teams scrimmaging tomorrow or early next week, and soon baseball and girls soccer, and not too far down the road, boys golf. And girls soccer get underway, and then there will be, full speed in the spring, and hopefully Mother Nature allows it to, to happen.
Yeah,
sooner than later.
College-wise, yesterday, close, but we were close to getting a WIAC.
We sure were.
National championship between Stout and Oshkosh, but both Stout and Oshkosh fell in their Final Four for women's basketball yesterday. And I know that's Oshkosh is your alma mater, and Stout's just down the road, but Eau Claire connections obviously with head coach Hannah there. But overall, 2 fantastic seasons.
When you have half of the Final Four.
Yeah.
That says a lot about you can talk all the time pretty much in any sport about the strength of the WIAC, but you see it there. A bounce here and a bounce there, and you got an all WIAC national title game, which is crazy.
It is.
But not too entirely surprising given what we know about the WIAC.
So congrats to both those teams on a very successful season. And sticking with college here really quick, because, well, like the Blue Golds, for instance, are on spring break, so like softball and baseball are in a little bit warmer weather climates and are playing. And the softball team is off to just a fantastic start right now for the Blue Golds. They're down in Florida this week, and so far to begin their season, they're 12-2. And their riding is at a 10-game winning streak, I think, right now it's up to. But they've won 4 games in a row so far down in Florida. They got a couple more on the docket for today before returning home. And then baseball's in action as well. So, and I know gymnastics is the NCGA Nationals that are going on. Swimming and diving, there's NCAA championships going on too. So, got spring sports, couple of the winter sports wrapping up. But now spring sports too, either really fully in action or just kind of getting underway here too. So it's that transition time.
It is.
Of the sports calendar. So Chippewa Steel still in action too?
They are. They actually host 2 games at home this weekend, tonight and tomorrow night. So they've got 10 games to go. They're right now in the final playoff spot. They got a little bit of a cushion, but they're trying to hold some other teams off. I mean, if you want a chance to see them here in the regular season, tonight and tomorrow, and then I think it's a week from tomorrow as well.
Okay.
Those are their last 3 home games. They have a real road-heavy close to the season, especially the last 2 weeks they'll be in Alaska. So obviously those will be a little bit tougher games to get to if you're looking to go out to a game. So if you're looking to go out to a game tonight, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, Chippewa Ice Arena. Another one also coming up, I believe it's next weekend as well. So, yeah, they've really kind of – it started to kind of round into form. They picked up a couple big wins last week down Janesville. Getting 4 big points, which when you're battling 3 or 4 other teams for one playoff spot, I mean those 4 points are huge. So if you're looking to get out and catch a game, tonight or tomorrow night's a good time to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's your local sports roundup, brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center.